like last year I was able to finally get my first cow elk with a bow, and being in a wheelchair, and it was DIY public land. Like there was no like private land, friggin' game cameras. This is where they're coming out. This is where they're at every day. Like we went around every day grinding and finding. We finally found this small canyon. We could hear them off in the distance, but we were butted up right against private. And so we had come, and we, during the middle of the day, there was kind of a lot of traffic, a lot of side-bys and ATVs, everyone smashing around just because it was, it was public land. Public land hunting is kind of a cluster. But we found this ridge line, and we went and we got sawzaws and shovels, and we cut out a lane for my wheelchair to get through, and we're just chucking branches off to the side, and went down and found this little nook where we had built up a bunch of bushes and stuff like that to make a little mini blind, and like the way I like to hunt too a lot of the times is I'll I'll go and I'll get like a camo burlap blanket, and I'll throw that over my wheelchair because the wheelchair gives things away right away. But then I like just putting on a ghillie suit.
Mhm.
I'll sit in a ghillie suit and just just back up against some bushes. So anyway, whatever, we got into there and got on the cow call. Never called a cow, never called an elk in, but just sitting there like, meow, meow, just making all these sound, like you heard on TV. Like you think they're doing a good job. Like, man, I'm killing this, dude. But you're scaring everything in Timbuktu. You know what I mean? Yeah, had a cow elk come running down. So I was in like a valley, and I was up on top of one side, and then there was this little tiny valley where the little creek bed, and then the other side of the hill, probably from my side to the other side, was 40 yards, 50 yards. But this cow elk came running down. Well, it wasn't a big cow elk. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hide anything. It was probably a year or two, maybe. But day 6 of a 7-day hunt, DIY public land in a wheelchair. And I'm a firm believer, like you take what the mountain gives you,
Take
like
your opportunities, yeah.
exactly, So this cow elk came in and it came running, and it ran straight down out of my window and came up, and I was like, dang it, dude. So I'm sitting there, and then it kind of like my buddy stopped calling for me because he was sitting behind me a little bit. My buddy stopped calling, and this thing started to walk out of the way, and it got back into my window, and I I find it funny to this day, like you get these cow calls, and they're like meow, like they sound like really like meow meow, and like they sound really good. But my mouth was so dry, my heart was thumping so hard. This cow elk comes, and I sounded like a transvestite freaking elk. I was like, "Mew." You get this thing stop, like, "Mew." Is all I could get out, and the thing stopped, and it looked back over the shoulder, and I put one right in the Boilermaker at 43 yards, and this thing ran at like it's 2 o'clock, about 30 yards, stopped, and then just tumbled right back down the hill. And I was like, we just did that. Like me and the boys had no idea what was going on, but we pulled it off, dude. We pulled off the cow elk, and that wasn't like honestly, like that was cool. That was an amazing feat in my eyes, and my buddy's eyes, and like that was our objective. Anytime you accomplish your objective, you're like sick, you know what I mean? But it was those times sitting in the middle of the day, just sitting there, and with does walking around and through the bushes, and just sitting there, not a sound, just sitting there in peace. Like I know we've kind of already touched on it, but
Mhm.
that's what I'm addicted to, and like, but we got it.
Well,
I
hey.
got it. Yeah, it was cool, dude. I made a video out of it too, and I've had the video on hand, but I've been so like addicted to this podcasting thing and, like, getting other people's stories. I haven't had time to put it out there, but, man, it's a lot of fun. That's one story. I have a bunch.